Boys and girls, welcome to episode 2 of Baseball for Maniacs. We were going to talk about trades, but something just happened as we went live. We'll get to the trades in a second, but and Dylan Cease is a Blue Jay.
So I don't mind the team, right? Like we talked about in the first episode, Toronto needed pitching, right? They had three good starters, but they need another one. I didn't think 7 years, 210 million for a guy that had a 4.5 ERA. Happy for Dylan. Like we said, we like him as a person. This is going to be a terrible contract, but let me get your thoughts real quick on that.
I mean, it kind of worries me a little bit because I didn't think the Blue Jays were going to have the exact same season, but it seems like they're gearing up to try and get right back to the World Series, and with the Red Sox being in that division, I don't know. Like, Cease might actually pitch well in the AL East. He really could. Some of those ballparks, like with the wind blowing in, especially at Fenway, there's a lot that's ground ball heavy at Fenway, and he's a ground ball pitcher. So I mean, this is good for the Blue Jays, though. It's like it gets them
Here's the
their guy. It's him, Bieber, and Savage. That's a crazy 1, 2, 3.
yeah, and Gosman has one more year.
And they
Got a
still
good
have Barrios too, don't they?
Barrios is a really good fifth starter. Like, no, he's a good four, but he's a really good fifth. So they got a lockdown rotation. If you don't care about money, which I think Toronto fans shouldn't because their ownership has so much money, Dylan Cease is a good pitcher. Is he $210 million good? No, but it's like it ain't their money. So if I was a Blue Jays fan, I'd be ecstatic. It does make me wonder how deep do those pockets run? Are they still going to be in on Tucker? Are they going to look for a bullpen addition? Because I heard they were in on Diaz too. But 210 is crazy work, man. Like, this market, what the hell is Ranger Suarez going to get? He's not coming back to Philly. Like, that, this deal sets that. But you give your final thoughts on the Dylan Cease thing, but crazy.
I mean, I wasn't really expecting Cease in Toronto. I didn't
No.
I didn't see that happening. I expected Toronto to go after a guy like Ranger, or maybe even go after a guy like Frambar. But you know, I'm glad he's getting his money. This kind of
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving, you got to love it for him and his family.
Oh yeah, exactly. And does it knock Toronto out of the running for a lot of these guys? 210's a lot of money, but you talked about they're printing money with the sports network up there at
Yeah.
this point. They still got to re-sign Bo, and they got a couple of needs to address still, but that's a big one.
Yeah, but nah, I mean, we'll get into the free agents now, or the trade targets we were talking about, which is the point of this episode. But I'm happy the stove is hot. You know, the baseball offseason is crazy long. There's no, like, deadline period like the NBA or the NFL. Um, but the winter meetings are like 2.5 weeks, so hopefully things start to move. But yeah, so we're going to get into some trade ideas that we had for each of our respective teams, and then one for our buddy's respective team. So I got 3 Phillies trades, 1 Red Sox. He's got 3 Red Sox, 1 Phillies. And then I'm going to start it off with the big trade I want. So yesterday it was reported by John Morosi of MLB Network that the Phillies and quote-unquote Blue Jays, which is funny, have contacted the Diamondbacks about Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte is a superstar, and I don't use that phrase lightly in Major League Baseball because I feel like people say, "Oh, this guy's a superstar. This guy's a superstar." No, 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 no. There's certain guys, and Ketel Marte is one of those guys, which makes you think, why is Arizona wanting to trade him? There's been some reports about he's not a good teammate. He doesn't play certain days because he just doesn't feel like it. He shows up to the field late. I'm not a reporter. I don't know if those things are accurate. But if they're shopping Ketel Marte on a 5 years, $92 million, which is what he has left, when they're still in a winning window or contention, it makes you think. And you know how much I care about that, Ryan? Absolutely zero. I don't care if he is the worst teammate. I don't care. I don't care, dude. He's a second baseman that had an 893 OPS and then was top 3 in MVP last year. So this trade is what I got. It's going to be a little detailed, so I kind of got creative with it. So basically, the Phillies receive Ketel Marte and Eduardo Rodriguez.
Ooh.
We'll get into why we're taking in that. The Arizona receives Bryson Stott. He's going to be the new second baseman for them because obviously, you know, one goes, one got to give something back. Arun Escobar, which is our either fifth or fourth top prospect, top five. He's a second baseman, but he's about, I would say, 3 years away, 2.5. And then we got Matt Strom and Taiwan Walker going there. So let me just get into the Cattell, Bryson, Arun. I think that could be a separate trade. But this is going to be one. So basically, everyone says, oh, give up Miller, give up Painter, which I'm sure that's the asking price right away. Why we're taking on Eduardo Rodriguez is because his contract is terrible. He has 2 years left on his deal. Taiwan Walker has one. So essentially, we'd be taking on 21 million for the next 2 years, or 20 million. Things like around 40. Then we'd be giving them only 1 year, 18. So that's why the asking price is going to be a little lower for what's actually coming back. We take on a bad contract for an extra year. They take on a bad contract for this year. Well, I think this is going to be really good for the Phillies. Similar to the Nimmo Simeon trade, kind of how two bad contracts, kind of, is I think there's going to be a lockout in 2027, which is breaks my heart as a fan. So if we do have a lockout, which I'm not rooting for at all, we wouldn't have to pay Eduardo Rodriguez. We'd be off the books for that year, or at least a prorated salary. And I think the Diamondbacks want to do that. And you give Matt Strom away because they're still in their winning window, and their bullpen was depleted with injuries. I think Matt Strom is going to have a terrible year because his fastball has dipped, his strikeout rate has dipped. Still had a really good year, has been great in Philly. There was some comments about him and Dombrowski, PFPs, Orion Kerkering. Dombrowski literally said in the press conference, he didn't do the PFPs. We did them. So stuff like that kind of makes me think Matt Strom is on the move, and that's why he's in the deal. I think it's a fair deal. I think probably maybe a little bit more. And I've seen a lot of comments on my TikTok, Phillies Fans 3. Love all you guys. I don't think you realize how good Ketel Marte is. I genuinely don't think the baseball community realizes he's a superstar. He plays decent enough defense. And dude, 900 OPS is unreal in this day and age. And I think you put him at second, and he's on a team-friendly deal. It's not like you're going to be breaking the bank for me. It's like, I think it's like 17 million AAV. His structure's a little weird to where it's like, I think it's 15 next year, 22 the next two, backloaded player option. Whatever, dude. We have the money, and that does not prohibit us from signing Kyle or signing a Tucker. You just flip-flop Bryson Stott for Ketel Marte. And it really helps this year because you get off the Taiwan deal. I did the math. I think we gained like $5 million by taking in all the adjustments. $5 million addition for Ketel Marte when we're going to win, like in our winning era, and then we have one more year where there might be a lockout. That's what I think. I don't know what your thoughts about Ketel Marte going to Philly. That's kind of my thing.
Now, see, I like where you're going with this. As a former as not a former Red Sox fan, Erod's a former Red Sox, but as a Red Sox fan, seeing Erod, I wouldn't mind seeing Erod in Philadelphia personally.
Dude, he could pop off. Like, he could just be like, screw it. Like, I'm going to, like, dominate, and did what he did in, his contract year.
Yeah, when he got the big deal from Detroit, he got us to the playoffs. He was low-key our number one guy going in there when Sale went
Dodgers
down.
wanted him, and he declined the trade.
And so, the only reason I think that the Diamondbacks hang up on the Phillies for that is because that trade doesn't include Miller and it doesn't include Painter. I don't think you necessarily have to drop anybody from that trade. Personally, I think a lot of those guys will get moved this offseason. But adding Aiden Miller or adding Andrew Painter, that gets that deal done. I don't think they do it with that right there. I like where your head's at, though. I see where you're going. I can see what you're doing, but I don't think they do it without the one or two prospect there, which is that kind of segues into mine for the Red Sox first trade. Now,
all right, let's hear it.
So this first one did come with a little bit of contingency because the Red Sox did move for Sonny Gray yesterday. Now, I like that move. He's a good ground ball pitcher. He got a lot of ground balls in Fenway. The ERA could be lower. You know, we talked a lot about Cease's ERA and how that could be a problem. His ERA was in the 4s when he was in St. Louis, but that's also St. Louis. They don't have good anything. But A lot of Red Sox Nation, they don't want Sonny Gray as their number two. They want to go out and get another arm, which is why I got the Red Sox going and getting Tarek Skubal from the Detroit Tigers, and I got them getting in their prospect second baseman Hal Yu Lee, just for funsies.
Oh, former Phil.
Yeah,
We traded Michael Lorenzen for him. 2023 deadline, our big move.
and I got the Red Sox giving up Jarren Duran, Tristan Casas,
Okay.
one of our top pitching prospects in Kyson Witherspoon, our
Okay.
top
I'm not familiar.
shortstop prospect in Franklin Arias, and one of our top outfielding prospects in Miguel Bleis.
Gotcha. So
Now,
it's a hefty package.
the asking price for Skubal is going to be high. You're not getting out of this without giving up less than 5 players. However,
Yeah.
a player like Tarek Skubal, you're more than fine with tearing apart your farm system for. The Red Sox
Yeah.
just did it to get Crochet, and he just finished right behind Tarek Skubal in Cy Young voting. We'll take it back even to 2017, 2016 when the Red Sox got Chris Sale. We traded Yoan Moncada and Michael Kopech for Chris Sale. You see how well that worked out. Michael Kopech is the face of anxiety in baseball. Great guy, does great things, but his anxiety gets to him in the big moments. You can't have that
He had
happen.
one good year last year with the Dodgers, but
He did.
besides that, you're right.
He did, but again, like it's very important that he talks about that stuff. Please talk about your mental health. However, in a big game situation, that stuff does get to somebody, and it's gonna affect your play.
Ryan
And
Kirkland. Hope
but
he's doing well.
exactly. But regardless, I think that you have to give up a lot, and you're either gonna have to give up Jarren Duran or Wilyer Abreu. That's fine. You're not giving
You
up
gotta do that
Marcelo.
anyway.
You're not giving up Roman Anthony. Preferably, you don't even want to give up Christian Campbell. But if you got to drop Arias or Blyce and put in Campbell, you do it. You don't give up
Yeah.
Campbell with the 5 that I just gave, because I truly, truly believe that he could come up and be the prospect that he was supposed to be, the late bloomer that he was. The guy came out of nowhere. He was like the 25th in our organization, and then he was literally right behind Roman. You don't just do that. Like,
No.
he's got an awkward swing, so that's something to work on. But yeah, I think that's the deal that gets it done. What do you feel about me thinking Scubal's a Red Sox?
So if that trade happens, I think it works for both sides. What has to happen in Boston's mind, whoever trades for Tarek Skubal, they have to be under the impression that they're going to re-sign him. And I'm not saying like if he decides to go to another team like the Dodgers or the Yankees or whatever, and he just leaves, but you offered the same amount of money, you wash your hands clean, you've done your job. But you have to trade for him knowing you're going to give up that money, and it's going to be 450 million. It might even be 500 depending on how he pitches this season. But the Tigers are in a winning window as well, right? I think they're going to win the Central again. I think they have a good club. So if they do have to trade Skubal, they're going to want major league players in return, a la Duran or whoever. It could be Abreu. You can flip flop that. But I think that's a fair deal. And for Boston, dude, Crochet, Skubal, Sonny Gray, that's your 3. Dude, you're solid. So I really like that trade. I like that he's also staying in the American League, so we wouldn't have to deal with that till the World Series if we ever get there. But I like that trade.
Yeah, it's far fetched. Obviously, I don't think Scooble gets dealt to Boston. I would love it. I personally think my nightmare of nightmares is he's gonna end up a Yankee, because the Tigers are gonna be really high on Spencer Jones. I can feel it in my bones. But
I don't think the Yankees have the prospect like capital. Like when Bendar got traded, I thought that was a ridiculous trade from the Pirates.
it was. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Is it like insider like stuff to where it's like it was like 2 of their like bottom like top 10, but it was like 8 and 9. Uh, no, I didn't like that. But segue to my second trade. So I got the Phillies getting Byron Buxton.
I love it already.
Right. And I got us sending Justin Crawford, Gage Wood, and Arun Escobar.
Ooh.
So that's a hefty package. For people that don't know, Gage Wood, Arun Escobar, and Justin Crawford are all in the top 3 of our prospects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our prospects pretty like heavy loaded in the front. What I think with Buxton is you give Crawford and Buxton swap each other out. Crawford is the left or center fielder of the future. Justin Crawford, if he ever turns into Byron Buxton, I I mean, I'll do just about anything because it's not going to happen. And I think very highly of Justin Crawford. I think his ceiling is good defensive player, 800 OPS, 315, 320 average. I think that's the ceiling. Byron Buxton at his best is an MVP, and he play when he's healthy, which that's the big gripe on Byron. Can he stay healthy? Played like 140 games this year. Like he plays a Gold Glove center field, which I'll get into. I'd put him in left, and I'd keep Harrison Bader, whatever. But he plays Gold Glove defense wherever he's at. Him at his best is a 900 OPS guy, and he's the rest of his contract is 3 years, 42. So even if this trade flops, it's not going to kill us financially. It could kill us in the prospect pool. But this is the type of move you got to make when you are a World Series contender. Arun Escobar's blocked right now. He's a second baseman. We have Bryson Stott right now, Trey Turner at short, and then third base Alec Bohm. But we also have Aiden Miller coming up. We have right now it's Arun, but we have like a decent amount of middle infield prospects to where like I think Arun's blocked. So I think he needs to be traded now because it's going to maximize his value. Might never be higher than this right now. So give the Twins another second baseman. Gage Wood, love me some Gage Wood. Saw all the videos. He's a psychopath in a good way. I don't think he's going to be like. I think his peak would be a 3-starter or like a dominant reliever. I would put him in the bullpen right away and just like let's rock and roll.
That was the rumor. Like when he first got drafted, you guys were going to call him up immediately and give him bullpen innings.
That's what I would have done, but I guess that's why I'm not president of baseball operations. But I think with the aura, like he's just the first round pick, like his value also may never be higher. So I love that trade for them. I would genuinely re-sign Bader, keep him in center, put Byron in left, get him off his feet a little bit, and then right field would be a platoon between Marsh and another right-handed bat, maybe Rob Refsnyder. But that's my second trade. Let me know your thoughts.
Buxton in Philadelphia to me just makes so much sense. He's been one of those guys that's been on the trade block for years now, but it's either A, he's having too good of a year to be traded and Minnesota's fighting for a playoff spot, or he's hurt. That's been his only thing, is his injury concerns. And honestly, it's weird. Some guys get a change of scenery and they end up healthy. It's strange.
Zach Wheeler.
It
Zach
happens.
Wheeler. Except for this year, but Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, but Buxton would solidify center. He wouldn't be the face of Philadelphia because you guys still got Trey and you guys still got Bryce, obviously.
Trey in the face of nothing. It's Bryce. I love me some Trey Turner, but he's not the guy. But yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, that works for both sides. I think that the Twins are lacking in infield right now because they relied way too heavily on Arias before they moved him out. They relied way too heavily on Brooks Lee. They relied way too heavily on guys like, I think Miguel Sano was their third baseman not that long ago. That's not feasible. So
No.
I think that helps them out a lot. I think that works. And for me now, you talked about Ketel Marte. Now, the Red Sox need middle infield. The Red Sox need it bad. We have Trevor Story, great season. Another guy where we don't make it to the playoffs if we don't have the season that Trevor Story had. Same thing with Bregman. But we don't need a shortstop. But we need a guy who can play both. I don't think the Red Sox have the capital to go get Marte. But you know whose value is at an all-time high right now? The guy directly across from him, Perdomo. And I wouldn't mind the Red Sox going and making a move for Perdomo. You can move him to second. You can move Story to second. They're both very athletic and can make the adjustment as needed. Perdomo being a switch hit bat gives a lot more validity and solidness to this lineup. But what are we giving up? That's the question. I got the Red Sox trading the other outfielder, Wilyer Abreu. I got Cutter Crawford getting moved in this trade as well. We're going to end up with a logjam in pitching with the prospects that we just drafted. And
never have enough pitching.
And, they want Garrett Whitlock to start. Tanner Houck's going to be coming back. We still have Patrick Sandoval. There's a lot of guys there, and Cutter Crawford's unfortunately the odd man out. I think he's the one that gets moved there. And then this one, they're going to have to pick between two of the top prospects because they're going to want one of them. And it's going to either be Peyton Tolley or Franklin Arias. Now,
Okay.
I would prefer Arias get moved here. I haven't seen much of him play. I'll be honest, I'm a little ignorant on him. I do know he's our top shortstop prospect. So I'm going to have to start doing research soon. Peyton Tolley immediately came up and made an impact when we needed him to. Our pitching was in the worst state ever, and of course it was in September when we needed it the most, when we were fighting for a wild card spot and we were fighting for our lives. Peyton Tolley came in and did the job. You can't tell me that didn't skyrocket his value either. I don't see a world where a Diamondbacks team that is probably going to lose Zach Gallen, a Diamondbacks team that's probably going to lose Merrill Kelly, they're not going to rely on Erod to get them through an entire season. You need another arm. Is it crazy to go out and get a young guy to do it? No. Look at Paul Skeens. Am I saying that Peyton Tolley is Paul Skeens? Absolutely not. But everybody has one of those years. He could be, 180 innings, 3.7 ERA. That's a really good season. And it's just really their willingness to move Perdomo and the Red Sox willingness to do some adjustments in their infield. I would personally love to see that one. So what do you think about it?
So Perdomo, when he signed that extension, it was like, really? Perdomo? But then you saw the money and it's like, well, whatever, dude. At worst, he plays a great defensive shortstop, like slightly below league average hitter. What he turned into this year was unfreaking real. I'm almost certain he finished top 5 in MVP.
He did. I think he was third.
Yeah, so, crazy. So it's like I would think you'd probably have to give up a little bit more, but I like where you're thinking. I think this all just comes back to where the Diamondbacks mentally are in the organization of like, are they going for it? Are they in the middle? Are they reselling? Because here's the thing about baseball now, especially with the third wild card. In other sports like the NBA, it's like the worst place to, like NBA purgatory is the middle ground. That's not the case in baseball, dude. If you're in the middle ground, now you never want to permanently be there because that just shows you don't want to spend money, you're a bad organization. But in transition periods, if you're in the middle, you could get in and just get hot. And we always say, baseball's a marathon, which it is. Dude, once October hits, anything can happen. That's the beauty and kind of the downside. Like, if you have a 100-win team and you lose in the first round, it sucks. But then, like, if you have an 83-win team, 84-win team, like the Diamondbacks in 2023, don't even remember that happened. But, I mean, just get hot, dude. And I think even with that trade, like you said, them sending over, like, one of the big pitching prospects, Willie Abreu as well, it keeps them competitive. And it's like it doesn't strip them completely of someone on their major league roster. So I like it a lot. I don't think they're going to do it. Most of the trades I don't think is going to happen, but that's why we're on a podcast. We're having fun with it.
Yeah. My third one's fucking ridiculous, so.
All right, let me get to my third one. So this is short, but it's huge. It's Tarek Skubal going to the Phillies. I only got 2 people going back to the Tigers. Andrew Painter and Alec Bohm. Let me digress. Let me get into this. Andrew Painter is the Phillies' top pitching prospect. If you Skubal under everyone's premonition is a rental, the Tigers are going to trade him to people with the sense of well, you're going to resign him. That's not how business works. He has 1 year left on his contract, dude. That's how we're trading him. And that's how other teams are going to see him. Andrew Painter, the way they talked about him and the way I think he's going to perform, I think 1-for-1 is a fair deal on both sides. Because Painter is big league ready. He's going to be on the opening day roster. I firmly believe that. 7 years of control and a top prospect. He can fit right into your rotation. He doesn't have to be the ace right away. Everyone's kind of low on Andrew right now, the way he pitched in AAA. I think he pitched like a 4.2, maybe even a 4.5.
He wasn't solid, but...
No, he's coming off Tommy John. No one's good off Tommy John their first year. And him getting through 140, 150 innings is a success. His fastball has been known to be flat since coming off the injury. I think he'll get that back, get that rotation. Because when his fastball is his fastball, 98 and someone else 98 with movement and 98 flat is completely different. I know some people don't understand that. It's completely freaking different. So if he gets his fastball back, Andrew Painter will win at least one Cy Young. So I think that is a fair deal 101, but I think the Tigers are going to want a little bit more. They're in their winning window. I think Alec Bohm, go have him play third base for a year, kind of like a 1-year deal. He makes about $10 million. He would be a doubles machine at Comerica Park. He don't hit the ball out, and he's like 6'5". He just doesn't. But he'll put balls in the gap and just give him a bigger outfield to work with. Have him have on a contract year, so he's going to be motivated. I think Skubal, and you put Skubal in our rotation, Zach Wheeler, Derek Skubal, Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo. Like, I'm just salivating over the freaking thought of that, like at CBP. Tarek Skubal at CBP.
And he's a psycho
and then,
anyway.
If everyone's healthy, you can throw Luzardo in the pen if it's a short series and you have days off. Because he came out in Game 4 and gave us like an inning and I think 2/3, the worst day of the year when we got eliminated. And pitching wins. Like, that's what it does. Why did the Dodgers win the World Series? Pitching. Their offense sucked. So everyone's like, oh, get offense. The Phillies need more offense. We do, but some of the offensive guys out there are going to cost too much. Like, I think Tucker. Schwarber, 6 years, kick rocks. Thank you for your service. Just, I think the theory of you want to attack your weaknesses, why not just go crazy at your strengths and then try to mismatch that? So the way the Dodgers, like the way their postseason run kind of came out, it kind of made me really think like, yo, let's just go crazy on the pitching. So that's my last Phillies trade.
So the only reason why I think that trade works is because I truly don't believe how much the Tigers and Skubal have diminished his own trade value. You know, he was great when they needed him to be. Even in the playoffs, even though they were losing efforts, he was fantastic. He's one of these guys that you give up everything for. And I think that's what the Tigers are looking for, but they know that they're going to, like, the team that gets Skubal knows they're going to have to give him a lot of money. They know that they're going to have to extend him. You don't want Skubal as a rental. You're not getting him to be a rental. If you do, you're crazy. But that's the only reason why I think his trade value would be as down as it is, because that contract isn't guaranteed. So that really could work. It really just determines on how the Tigers prospect pool and their pitching coaches deem Painter. I think Painter could be a Cy Young caliber pitcher. I think Andrew Painter could have came up last season and helped you guys out at some point. But you guys have a plan. You chose Micah Bell instead, and he was all right. He was okay.
He was good for us.
I saw him pitch in the minors last year. He was pretty all right.
I think he'll do all right in Minnesota. Let's just say we cashed in on his highest value.
Yeah, and now my little ridiculous third scenario here. Now, I might be a big-time Red Sox fan, but if I had like an AL team that I would root for if it wasn't the Red Sox, it would be the Seattle Mariners. And the Seattle Mariners, in my opinion, have the best pitching staff in baseball. I think even if they get rid of one of those guys, they're still a top 5 rotation. Because even if you look at those 4, Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, George Kirby, Luis Castillo, that's insane. You can get rid of one of those guys and you're still a top 5 team. Which is why I have the Red Sox going after Logan Gilbert. Now, this is going to take a lot. Because Logan Gilbert is a top 5 arm in baseball. Logan Gilbert can be a Cy Young winning pitcher. Logan Gilbert would be the ace of this rotation. Skubal would go to the 2. Or not Skubal. Crochet would go to the 2.
You think?
I do. I truly do. I love the idea of George Kirby and Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert is 1A and George Kirby is 1B. Logan Gilbert is special. I love Logan Gilbert and I need him in a Red Sox uniform. Now, all you listening, you're going to be like, oh, what about Joe Ryan? Oh, what if we could just go sign Frambar. Oh, we could make a deal for Skubal. Guys, it's not happening. Neither is this, but none of those aren't happening. Like, let's be optimistic for a second. Let's go crazy. Let's give the Mariners Jarren Duran. Let's give the Mariners Christian Campbell. Let's give the Mariners Greg Weissert. And you know what? F it. Let's give them Peyton Tolley. I'm fine with those four guys going and only getting Logan Gilbert in return. Logan Gilbert is going to take any team that he goes to the next level. The Mariners want him, and they're going to try their best to keep him. I'm not sure what his contract situation is right now, honestly. I think they only have him for a couple more years of control. They're going to need to pay him. They're going to have to choose between Brian Wu, who was a Red Sox prospect at one point, wouldn't mind having him back. They're going to have to choose between George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, and Brian Wu. Logan Gilbert's going to want the most money. I don't think they're going to want to give him that.
Yeah, no.
And
I mean,
with that being said, Red Sox Nation is already not happy with the idea of Sonny Gray being a 2.
yeah. I like that trade. I don't think it's going to happen, and you don't think it's going to happen. So like we're on the same page.
Yeah, I'm having fun with this last one because it's like the Red Sox Nation. They always say, "Oh, we need another pitcher. We need another pitcher." Because we were riddled. Brian Bayo was down for a while. Lucas Giolito went down. I love Connolly early, but like,
I think with them getting Gray, I think that was their move, right? And he's not a bad number 2, but it's like you'd feel so great with him as a 3, right? Seattle, what I would do with them, similar to the Philly point of like when I wanted to get Scooble. Yes, you could trade from your surplus to help your weakness. Even though I think Seattle, I mean, they had their offense was decent in the postseason, but what have they been known for? Not being able to hit offensively.
Yeah.
Safeco Field sucks. Or did they change the name now?
I don't think it's Safeco anymore. Is it T-Mobile Park?
It is T-Mobile Park. It's Safeco to me.
Dude, but that's like Trenton Thunder though. Like anybody who's from Trenton, it's Arm and Hammer. It's Arm and Hammer Park. It's never gonna be what they call it now
at all. But I think they just rock with the pitching, man. Like if you're really upset about your offense, go sign another guy. Like they re-signed Naylor, which I think was a great move.
That was fantastic.
But go get another bat, dude.
Like honestly, Naylor is criminally underrated for his position. He's one of the more athletic first basemen in baseball, and that's something you don't see that much. We haven't really seen a guy who could steal a bag at first since when Goldie was in his prime in Arizona.
He's a baseball player, and everyone's like, who might be new to the pod, oh yeah, everyone's a baseball player. No. There's baseball players, and Josh Naylor is one of those guys.
There's guys who play baseball, and then there's baseball players.
Yeah, exactly, and he's one of them. And they only signed him like $18 million a year AAV for 5. Dude, that was a great deal.
It's so team friendly. It gives them so much wiggle room that they can go out and get these guys, which is why I think that kind of works because some of those guys are projected to be not necessarily big contract guys, but they could definitely help out a playoff team.
Yeah, I just don't think. I think if they would have traded from their surplus, they already would have done it.
Yeah.
But it's like they can't really go wrong. Like can't go wrong with 4 good starters. So, but I like that. I like the fun of the trade.
But I'm interested to see what you got coming my way in terms of what you think the Red Sox should go and do.
Perfect. So, I mean, I kind of wanted to go outside the box of like Red Sox for another team instead of doing like a Red Sox Phillies trade, but I did it anyway because I feel like the Red Sox and the Phillies have movable parts that can kind of work together. I got the Phillies getting Jarren Duran, Patrick Sandoval,
okay,
and Connor Wong. And I got the Red Sox receiving Dante Nori, Griffin Bulkholder, Matt Strahm, Gene Cabrera, and Brian Rincon. So what I think this is one of those in-between moves for you guys, in the sense of you guys are in the winning window, but what do smart teams do? If they have a surplus at an area, not pitching, because you can never have enough pitching, but like outfield, there are only 3 spots for outfielders. You give up one of the guys because you have to regardless, and then you could still mix in with the minor league team, so when the run starts to run out, then you bring up your guys. That's where Dante Nori comes into play. Dante Nori, I think, estimated arrival time 2028 early side, 2029 more realistic side. He's been killing it in the fall league. I think he's going to be, if he works out the best possible way, Stephen Kwan. Not the defender Stephen Kwan is, but the hitter.
Right.
He's not going to hit you 30, 40 homers, but he could probably do 20. He can hit you 310 at his peak. And when we drafted Dante Nori, it was more of the safe pick. it was like the ceiling wasn't that high, but the floor was pretty good. So naturally, us Philly fanatics, we were like, whatever, dude. Like you're not impressing me. So we kind of like pushed him off to the side. In his secret, quietly good year, he made it up to Reading. Now that was just because the season ends, like the A-ball season ends early, so they just
Yeah,
send guys up for about a week or so. But he's going to start in A-ball, high A, and I think he's a good ball player, man. And I think you can just that he could be insurance if one of your outfielders like get hurt or whatever in a couple years. But then I got you guys also getting Griffin Bulkhorter. He's I think our 12th ranked prospect. He's an outfielder. He's got a good bat, but he's had health concerns. Just another throw in for you guys, just in case. And then Matt Strom, I got you on the side of this trade.
I
So let's
like
help
that
your
one.
major. Yeah, he had a 2.7 ERA, something like that. You guys need like I think another lefty to kind of help with Chapman, kind of split him up. And I think Matt Strom was with you guys, so he
He
would like
was.
Boston. He would fit. He likes the big market, I think. Even though he sucks in the playoffs, whatever.
Could work around that.
Um, yeah, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna go off in the 2026 playoffs for you guys, and whatever. Um, and then Gene Cabrera is our I think 10th ranked prospect. I think he just underwent Tommy John. No, that was Moises Chasse. So Gene Cabrera, I think, is at best a 4 starter, but I think his floor is a 5 starter. I think he's just going to fit in there. I think he's going to be a good major league starter to where if everything goes right, 140, 150 innings, 4.25 ERA. That's valuable. And then the other one, Brian Rincon, shortstop. Not even. I think he's just in the top 20. Just another guy, just to make it work. Because Jaron Duran is a damn good player, and he's in control for 3 years. The reason I did Patrick Sandoval is because saves you guys a little bit of money. You have a lot of pitching. I don't think Sandoval's going to throw a pitch for the Red Sox in 2026 at all. And we kind of need, I would say, like a fifth, a sixth starter. Because after our current 5, after Taiwan Walker, who is slated in our fifth right now, or maybe he'd be sixth, we don't have anyone else besides that. Gene Cabrera is our next guy. So I'd rather, in our winning era, get someone a little more proven. The thing with him is health. You guys save $9 million, you throw him our way. The reason I want Connor Wong is not because Connor Wong's anything special. We just need catching depth.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just Garrett Stubbs and Marchand. Marchand's really good defensively, but he hit under 200. Granted, catching behind JT is the hardest thing to do, I think, because you play once a week, because JT just is a dog and he catches 6 games a week, like no doubt. So I don't really blame the batting, but it's still 170 is 170. You need to be better. And Garrett Stubbs, I feel like people want him out of town because like the vibes guy and vibes don't get you anything.
Yeah.
I think Garrett Stubbs as your third catcher is not a problem. He is a good defensive catcher. That's what he is. He's not going to hit anything. He's going to hit under 200. But just give me another guy because if we let JT go, get Connor Wong, see what he can do. Righty, maybe he goes righty, Marchand goes lefty. That's a platoon, or him and Stubby, whatever. Just give me more catching depth because like if Marchand went down, dude, we're screwed. So that's kind of my fun trade. I would put Duran. Like I said, I put him in left. This is all contingent on Bader coming back. I think Bader should just be the center fielder. You work around that. But Durant can play center.
You can.
Durant can play right. So that's my last trade.
Now, I like it. I do kind of I like the return. I did a little research on the Phillies prospects. I do like Gene Cabrera. He's one of these guys that I think could like be like one of these sneaky guys. Oh, he's only like 10 in the organization, but then he just comes up and he just does his thing.
Yeah.
I'd be upset seeing Duran go, obviously. I love me some Jaron Duran. I guess if I had one change, I would hope that you guys would be willing to take Abreu instead. But Duran is a little bit more consistent with his bat than Willier is. Willier's got a bit more pop, and his glove is a bit more sound. Willier's got a bit more injury concerns. Duran's more athletic, and I think Duran fits the vibe in Philly a lot more than
Yeah.
Willier would. So I'm not opposed to it. I don't hate it. I would need to see a little bit more from the other prospects. I don't mind seeing Connor Wong go, and I don't mind seeing Patrick Sandoval go. But that kind of seems like we're sticking with Narvaez at catcher, which I'm cool with. But then we would need to go get somebody else. But that we could work around that. Now,
Yeah.
for me, I was trying to work out a Philly Sox trade. I was trying to work out some shit to get Chris Sanchez. However, doing a bit more
Jesus
research.
Christ himself wouldn't be traded for Chris Sanchez
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know, I know. So that's why I kind of kiboshed that one because that would mean you probably either want Marcelo or Roman, and you're not getting them. So, it,
Please.
I mean, if you ask nicely, anyway. But so I was looking over the league, and the Phillies need outfield. That's not a question. They need outfield. Who's been the one guy that's been linked to Philly for the past 5 years about trying to get him home?
As a Red Sox.
Not a Red Sox. I went
Oh, not a
I
Red
went away
Sox.
from the Red Sox at this.
Oh boy, are we going down the Mike Trout
We're
train?
going down the Mike Trout train. I
Good
got the
lord.
Phillies making a move for Mike Trout. And what they're going to give up, you're going to love. They're going to give up Nicky Castellanos to make up for that contract. They're going to give up Dante Nori. They're going to give up Gene Cabrera. They're going to give up Rincones. And they're probably going to have to get somebody from the bullpen. Maybe somebody like Strom. Maybe if you're sick of Kerkering. Then now, this is why this needs to happen. That would unlock the city of Philadelphia. The hype around Mike Trout being in Philadelphia would be godlike. Think about that lineup right now. Just say you don't even re-sign Kyle. That's Trey in the 1. You could put Mike Trout in the 2. You got Bryce right behind him, and then maybe you bring in Pete. Maybe JT resigns. And the thing is, Mike Trout, he's still Mike Trout. It's not.
Not this year. The last year he had his worst season. He played a decent amount, but I think his OPS was like 750,
But if your
which is
lowest for your career is 750, come on.
yeah.
Like
I just
Mike Trout could have gone down as the greatest baseball player of all time if he wasn't on the Angels and if he didn't get hurt. Mike Trout would have been the
and that's the
greatest.
thing.
He,
His injuries.
yeah, but
Here's my thing. I love Mike Trout. I think his story is devastating. To his own doing, though, because he chose to sign with the Angels. Um, if you're getting Mike Trout, if not even like MVP Mike Trout, if you're getting like 900 OPS, 130 games, mix of DH, outfield, awesome. I would have to see how the money went because I think he has 5 more years and he's making like 36 million a year. Casty going there offsets it for 1 year. Cool. Strom, if he went there, one of our bullpen arms, Alvarado, that's like another 7 to 10 million. So it offsets it for this year, right? I think he's cooked, like genuinely, and it breaks my heart because he should have been in Philly in 2023. That was the time to do it. I'm not saying I'm glad it didn't happen, but I'm glad it didn't happen just because the way his career has gone. And I think that ship has sailed. Now, if they wanted to trade and they say we take on half of the contract and then those prospects are still involved, cool, because then we're only paying him 18 mil for 5 years. Similar to the Buxton deal, probably 2 more years. I would love to take a flyer on it. I just think, dude, when bodies break down, Ken Griffey, like they're done. So I would love it if it was prime Mike Trout, but it's not. So yeah, but I like the thought. I like the thought.
yeah, so it's and like you said, Stowe's been pretty hot, so we're gonna have a lot to talk about for a couple of episodes.
It's so funny Dylan C signed when we started this podcast. If you guys don't know and you didn't watch the first episode, we're not fans of Dylan C, the player, human being, cool guy. We thought he was gonna get overpaid 6 years, like 140.
I had
You
him at
got
like hold on, I got my notes right here. I had Dylan
yeah,
Cease at 6 years, 145.
and we thought that was an overpay.
I thought it was an overpay.
Dude, what the hell was he gonna get if he had a good year? 300 million?
Are we talking about like he could have been somebody that would have been getting schoolboy money if his ERA was under 3?
And you know what's gonna happen? He's gonna win the Cy Young, and we're gonna like sound like idiots.
We're gonna look
But I
like
don't care.
we're gonna look like jerks. We're gonna look like such jerks.
210? 7 for 210? That's crazy work. But yeah, the stove's gonna get hot. I think winter meetings are gonna be enormous, like they always are. But sometimes you get your duds. You get your like last year Soto sign, kind of set the market. The weird thing about that is, and we'll end this episode soon. I don't really think like anyone big is holding up the market. Like, sure, the Tuckers, the Bellingers are going to hold it up for the middle tier guys, but it's like, go get your guy, man. And that's why with the Schwarber thing, when I see the report of, hey, we're not close on negotiations, there's going to be December soon. I'm not holding up my offseason for a DH, and I love Kyle Schwarber. But if we run into the situation where we hold up for Kyle, and then he ends up taking a stupid deal with like the Pirates or whatever just because they overpaid him, and then we don't have anyone to go to like rebuttal, that makes us look like a bad franchise. I would say go to Kyle, give him your offer. If he declines it, you say thank you for your service, and then if he's still around and you still have money, then re-talk about it. But then go after your other guys. So
Yeah, so my last take right now before we call it an episode, I think this offseason is going to be huge in the sense of depth. You know, there isn't a metric ton of star power out in the market right now. You know, Kyle Schwarber, star. Alex Bregman, star. Kyle Tucker, star. Other than that, maybe Pete Alonso and maybe JT if you really want to say that. But those are like the big guys that are probably going to get the big money. So you need to focus on your depth. A lot of the offseason we're going to see trades. There's a lot of big names out there that could be on the trade market. You got guys like Sandy Alcantara, who's probably going to get moved. Mackenzie Gore might be on the trade block, as well as CJ Abrams. You could even be heading out west to the Padres. How much longer are they going to want to pay Manny? How much longer are they going to want to pay Xander? You know, a lot of these guys, it's big contracts. You're eating up money, but what are they? They're depth guys that can get you to where you need to be in October. Xander Bogaerts is a proven October player. When he won the World Series with the Red Sox, he was one of our more valuable hitters. And Manny Machado never really got the chance. He got it with the Dodgers, and he lost to the Red Sox. He struck out looking like an idiot, mind you. That's what you get for hurting Pedroia, you dirty sliding bastard. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost track. Anyway, but this offseason needs to be a depth offseason. Whether it's pitching depth, bullpen depth, outfield depth, there's a lot of guys that can fill holes. Rob Refsnyder's probably not coming back to Boston. That breaks my heart. He'd be a fantastic utility guy for Philadelphia. He'd be a fantastic utility guy anyway.
maybe.
So if I'm in the winter meetings, I'm looking at the lower level free agents. I'm looking at guys that are gonna maybe you're only gonna have to pay $10 million a year for. Maybe guys like $8 million a year. Somebody like even Randy Arozarena, who's probably gonna garner a lot of attention, but that's a depth outfielder. He'd be great.
Well, he's next year. He signed for this
Oh,
year.
yeah, that's right, he did. But like,
Yeah, he's got one more year.
or even somebody like Marcell Ozuna. That's a depth DH guy, or even a depth platoon outfield guy if you really need it. It's going to be an important year for the playoff teams to go out and fill holes. It's going to be an important year for contending teams to go out and get their guy. We're going to have a lot of fun this offseason.
Oh yeah, and we'll probably be back sometime early next week, or maybe at the end of this week with our next episode. We're gonna figure out what topic we want to talk about, but this has been fun.
Yes, and just before anything, if you would like to see the first episode, this is my bad. I was under the assumption that the Millions app would be a lot easier to pull videos off of and get to the YouTube. I've been mistaken. You guys are going to have to bear with us. Baseball's about messing up, so is learning how to do podcasts. You know, we're getting there. But the first episode is on Millions, free to use, free to make an account. You just look up Baseball for Maniacs. You'll see Owen's pretty face. You'll see my pretty face. And we'll get going. You can talk about the first episode with us. Clips are going to be all over the place on TikTok. My TikTok, Phillies Fan 3, Owen's TikTok, and the Baseball for Maniacs TikTok as well. But until next time, for Owen Lukash, I've been Ryan Baxter saying so long, and we'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.